while we're here today. I get asked a lot about pop-up mixes, how to make your own hook bait mixes, how to make your own pop-up mixes. Now you can go the long way around it, and I'd urge people to do that really, because obviously you learn a lot more. But for many of you that don't have the time or the inclination or the interest sometimes, these are brilliant. There's no two ways about it. They are fantastic. It's a pop-up mix already made. The only thing you need to add to that is an egg, your flavour and your colour. Follow the instructions and you cannot go wrong. So let's start. So before we get onto the actual mixing of the ingredients, I just wanted to show you a couple of items which I've been using for years, which are very, very popular, and they do an extremely good job. Now, these are available on the Gardner website. Gardner have made them for years. They do them in a range of sizes. I think they go from 8mm up to 22mm or 24mm, which covers all bases. These are rolling tables. You've probably seen these many, many times, but we are going to use one of these today. Also, the boilie gun. Now, this is the cheaper version that they do. It's basically a modified silicone gun. But you use it in exactly the same way as a normal gun, only it's not got a compressor. You might have read about compressed air, but this is just a very, very basic gun which you fill up with the paste, and then you obviously extrude your sausage to whichever size you want for your table, and you go from there. But these are all available on the Gardner website, pretty much as cheap as chips, and this is what we're going to be using. So before we start mixing up, I'm just going to run you through a few things that we're going to use in the actual mix. So you've obviously got the powder. If you open the tub, this is just like a very light fine powder, almost flour type consistency. In the tub you have a bottle of preservative, which is a liquid preservative. You don't use it all, but we'll go through that. We're going to use a Tutti Frutti flavour, a spotted fin Tutti Frutti flavour, which is a great flavour for any time of year really, but I'm going to be using this for my winter hook bait mixes. A yellow dye, a powdered yellow dye. I love using brock baits in the winter, seeing as this is going to be my winter hook bait mix. Yellow is going to be the colour. It's just a standard yellow powdered dye. They use this in cake making, cake decorating, all sorts of things. So it's just standard yellow dye. And then lastly, my little special additive is fructose. Now this is a sweetener. Again, this is used in lots and lots of human food grade cooking, sweets especially, but it's added to lots of stuff. But it's quite sweet, but what I like about this is there's no sharpness to it. It's very smooth. When you taste it, it's very smooth. But why I like using this in the winter especially is because it's very soluble. I found that it seems to, because of its powdered consistency, it lasts that much longer in the winter, so it releases obviously the sweeteners and the flavours, and also the colours, because I always add quite a bit of colour to my mixes for winter hook bait mixes, because that tends to create a haze off the bait, a leakage off the bait, a kind of signal off the bait, which I like because it tends to throw those feed signals out that much more. So anyway, we're going to put these together, and we'll see how we get on. Last but not least, actually, don't forget your egg. You need a large egg. So here we go. So first off, crack your egg in the bowl. Stick that to the side. Next up, grab a 5mm spoon. Always add liquids to liquids. And with that, I'm going to add 3ml of a preservative. This will ensure that your baits stay nice and fresh and don't go mouldy. Put that out of the way. Next up, Tutti Frutti flavour. Get on it. And with that, I'm going to add 3ml. Put that out of the way. So now my liquids are mixed with my liquids. So for that, I'm going to start stirring the egg together. Next up, fructose. 10mm. This will give you a nice sweet round flavour to the bait. Put that away. Mix that in. And lastly, yellow dye. I want these to be nice and bright for my winter campaigns. And for that, I'm going to add 10mm. And slowly stir it into. But you must make sure that everything here is added first. Don't be tempted to start adding the powder from that tub yet, because you will make a complete mess of things and it'll all go wrong. So take your time, there's no rush. Make sure that everything is mixed in correctly. Don't be tempted to add any of that mix yet. Make sure that everything has been taken on by the egg. And you have a nice, thick, in this case, yellow liquid. So once you've finished mixing, this is the sort of consistency that you should have. You can see there the egg has been mixed in, has taken on all the colour and the powdered additives and everything else. And now it's just a simple case of adding the powder to the egg. So take your tub of powder and just slowly add it to the egg. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Pour a small amount in at first. Mixing the egg in as you go. And again, don't rush it. There's no rush. Make sure it's all mixed into that egg first off. So at the first stage, it should look a bit like icing sugar. As you can see, as I put my fork through it, that's what it should look like. Now at the second stage, it should look a bit like this. It should be crumbly and almost mixed. Now the key to getting it right first time, every time, is to just add small amounts of the powder at a time. Don't be fooled into thinking, because it's still a liquid, oh, I need to add some more. I can't see a paste coming, I need to add more. All in one go. So just add small amounts, until you end up with a workable, pliable dough. Now, you've only got to look at my hands and you can see there's a few little bits on there, but not a lot. So you shouldn't have this sticky, gooey mess. It should be pliable. And my test, the way I've always done it for years, is with my thumb. If my thumb goes into that paste and it doesn't stick to it, it's perfect. That's just what you can see on there is from where I've been mixing. But so long as you don't let go and it doesn't pull the paste out with it, if that makes sense, that is perfect. Because that won't stick to the table. So when you go to roll your hook baits, you move your table backwards and forwards, obviously. That won't stick to the table. So that's how I tell. I get lots of people saying to me, oh, I get to that point and I roll my hook baits, and when I take the table, the top of the table off, they will stick to it. How can I stop them from sticking? Well, that's the reason. You've got to get the mix right first time. But if you do struggle with sticky mixes, you can add a little bit of oil to the table, a little bit of hemp oil. But yeah, that's what I would usually do. But that is absolutely perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put that in the gun and roll some hook baits. And that will get you hundreds of hook baits. That will see you for all winter and probably next, and maybe even the following one, unless you're that lucky that you're catching a lot of fish. And also, just a quick one, you can see how much powder I've actually got left in that tub, which is half the tub. So I've not used it all, So if you use it all, you're doing something completely wrong. So stick with what I showed you, and with any luck, you'll have hook baits rolled in no time. So let's roll a few out, and we'll see how we get on from there. Now, if you do struggle and you are finding that the paste is sticking to the table, what you can do, like I mentioned before, is to add some kind of an oil. I tend to use walnut oil. It's fairly cheap, you can get it more or less at any supermarket. And all I do is literally add a little bit to my fingers and then run it down the table, down the grooves of the table, so it's all nice and smooth, and then to the lid as well, so you've got a bit in the lid, so it's nice and smooth. You won't have any problems at all. That's if you do get it sticking, but we'll put some on there just in case. It does absolutely no harm, and if anything, it just makes the whole process a little bit easier. So if you've got some laying around, you can use that, but any oil will do, as long as it's not WD-40 or car oil, for Christ's sake. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to just squeeze some of this paste out into a nice even sausage. This is where another reason where people go wrong is that they get the sausage all over the place. It'll be skinny in the middle, the fat in it. It's got to be completely the same all the way through. And a good test is that if you lay it that way, you should have about a mil either side of that sausage, and that should be perfect. And all we're going to do is we're going to pick that up, lay it down. I've got some water already boiling in front of me, and I'm going to just roll them out like that. So they're nice and round. And any odd shapes or ones that you don't like the look of, just pick them out. They all look okay. You can normally tell whether they're round because as you flick them, they should move easily. If they don't move easily, take them off because they're not round. See? Yep. And then from there, they go straight into the pot. Put my timer on, and I time them for around 2 minutes. And any offcuts that you get, stick into a little bag and keep the paste to one side, and then you can roll those, put it through the gun, and you can roll them again. And while they're boiling, we'll put another sausage in the gun, on the table rather. Remember to keep it nice and square. If you're not sure, lay it that way and it will show you that you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And we'll put the top back on, and we'll give it another go, and we'll just keep doing this, continue to do this until they're all finished, until all the paste is done, and then job done. So I've boiled these for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I've now transferred them from the boiling pot to a towel, and what I do is just leave them to dry now for around 24 hours, but halfway in between that I make sure I come back and turn them over. I'm pretty pleased with them, to be honest with you. Most of them are round, which is the idea. But any that aren't round I tend to just take out and throw away. But you can, if that's what you want to use, you can use them. It's up to you. But personally, I like a nice round hook bait. I think the majority of them have come out pretty round, so I'm quite pleased with that. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've found it informative, and I hope it's answered a few of your questions and maybe more. If there's anything else you need to know, feel free to hit me up on my Twitter, Instagram, or my Facebook feeds. I'm always available there, and I always reply to my messages, so you can get in touch with me there. Thanks for watching, and hopefully if I don't see you on the bank, I'll see you around another time. But thanks very much. Take care now.